So Lexie Hull is out there at the Masters with Caitlin Clark, just soaking it all in. It was that TikTok comment section. That's where things got interesting. So if you didn't catch it, here's the situation. Caitlin Clark drops a little yippee-skippy moment, tags Sophie Cunningham like, hey, what you doing? You've got cameras, vibes, everything. And then boom, fans jump in. No invite is crazy. You two better make up for this TikTok. It instantly turned into speculation mode. And for a second there, it really felt like, okay, Sophie's coming back. Like that comment, that energy, it sounded like someone who's still part of the picture. But then, hold on, things switch up. People start noticing the comment is gone, deleted. Now it's like, wait, what? Why delete it? What changed? Was it nothing or was it something? That's where the confusion kicks in. Because based on that original comment, it definitely felt like she was leaning towards staying with the fever. But deleting it, that just adds a whole different layer. I've been thinking about this a lot, right? Like, how much of a hometown discount did these players actually take? Because that's going to be the real story when those contract numbers finally drop. That's when everything makes sense or doesn't. Like, we're already hearing that Lexie Hull might have taken one. And if that's true, that says a lot. Because in today's game, players don't just leave money on the table for no reason. There's always something behind it. Fit, culture, opportunity, or maybe something bigger. But I'll be honest, I didn't even think that was fully possible in certain situations. Like with restricted free agency and all that, I always thought it was more about matching offers, right? Like you take the biggest sheet, the team matches it, done deal. But maybe there's more flexibility than we realize. Or maybe teams just work around it in ways we don't fully see. Because think about it. If players can choose to take less, even slightly less, that changes everything. That's how you build something real. That's how you build continuity. But then, this whole situation with the comments, that just added another layer to everything. For a second, I thought, wait, did Sophie delete that comment? Like, did something happen behind the scenes? You know how fast things can shift. 1 minute, it feels locked in. Next minute, silence. But yeah, comment deleted. It's deleted. And then you see it. Lexie Hull liked the comment. That's the part that makes you stop and go, okay, hold on. That's not random. That's not nothing. Because if Lexie's engaging with it, if she's liking that kind of energy, the odds of Sophie Cunningham being back, they feel extremely high right now. If we see her comment before she deleted, like really high. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I really am. If both Sophie and Lexie are coming back, and especially if they took some kind of hometown discount to do it, that's huge. That's culture. That's buying into something bigger than just individual numbers. Because here's the thing, you actually want both of them. Yeah, Sophie might be the better overall player. That's fair. But Lexie? You can't replace what Lexie Hull does. You just can't. There are players who might put up better stats, sure, but her specific role, her energy, her defensive presence, her willingness to do the dirty work, that's rare. And more importantly, neither of them have ego issues. That's massive. Like, you can start one, bring the other off the bench, switch it night to night, and it works. No drama, no problem. That's how good teams are built. But then you look at the bigger picture, and it gets complicated. Because while we're talking about bringing people back, there's another name hanging over everything, Kelsey Mitchell. And I'll be real, it feels like the toughest situation on the entire roster. Like, how do you keep her? I genuinely don't know if they can. Not long-term anyway. Because Kelsey Mitchell is not just another player. You're talking about elite scoring, shot creation, someone who can completely take over games. That's not easy to replace. That's not something you just draft and fix overnight. And if we're being honest, it almost feels like losing her might be a formality at some point. Not because the team doesn't value her, but because the numbers, the structure, everything else, it just gets really hard to make it all fit. Now, could they plan ahead for that? Maybe. That's where the draft comes into play. That's where you start thinking, okay, if we do lose Kelsey Mitchell, who fills that role? And that's not an easy question, because you're looking for a very specific type of player, a downhill attacker, someone who can score, handle pressure, stretch the floor. And there are options, but none of them are perfect replacements. You might look at someone like Ayanna Martin and say, okay, similar size, similar driving ability, maybe even a better passer and defender, but she's not as quick. She's not the same level of shooter. So now you're trading one strength for another. Or maybe you go a completely different direction. Maybe you take a big, try to stretch the floor more, change the identity of the team. There are multiple paths here. And then there's the whole power forward situation. Because let's be honest, that's been a big talking point. Everyone wanted that perfect stretch four. Everyone had names in mind. And yeah, maybe the Fever didn't land the exact one people were hoping for, but that doesn't mean the move they make can't still work. Like, there's a real argument that someone like Monique Billings could actually be a better fit, even if she's not the flashiest option. Energy, effort, running the floor, doing the little things. Sometimes that matters more than just pure skill set on paper. What they do need, though, is depth. They need a reliable bench four, someone who can come in and give real minutes. Because relying on Damaris Dantas as your first option off the bench in both the front court spots, that's not ideal. And then you look at the younger pieces. KK Timpson, look, I hate saying it, but right now, she's not ready. The potential is there, the athleticism is there, but the production hasn't been. And after what we saw overseas, it's hard to just assume that leap is coming immediately. So yeah, there are still gaps, there are still questions, but overall, this is trending in a really interesting direction, because if you're bringing back Sophie Cunningham, if you're keeping Lexie Hull, if you've already got your core pieces in place, suddenly this team starts to look like something. Not perfect, not unstoppable, but dangerous. I'd put them in that contender category. Not title favorites, not yet, but definitely a team nobody wants to deal with. And a big part of that comes down to fit. Like, even looking at the guard situation, bringing in players who better match what the team actually needs, instead of just stacking talent for the sake of it. That matters. That's how you build something sustainable. And when you combine that with players who are willing to sacrifice a little, who are willing to buy in, who don't care about starting versus coming off the bench, that's when things start to click. So yeah, at this point, it kind of feels like run it back. Bring the group together. See what you've got. Let it develop. Because there's something forming here. You can feel it. We just have to wait and see how it all plays out. So yeah, let me know what you think. Don't forget, like and subscribe.